In a show of its commitment to collective defense and combat readiness amid rising tensions in Eastern Europe, NATO has begun a massive exercise titled Exercise Brilliant Jump. This exercise involves sending a high-readiness joint task force to the alliance's eastern region, specifically Poland, near the border with Ukraine. A large convoy of military vehicles, including Spanish Leopard 2, A4 tanks, British combat vehicles, Albanian land vehicles, and Polish Leopard tanks, has arrived by sea at the port of Szczecin, Poland. After being unloaded from the ships, the combat vehicles were immediately moved by rail to a strategic point near Poland's eastern border, bolstering defenses along the border with Ukraine. Exercise Brilliant Jump is part of a series of NATO exercises to test the rapid response capabilities of multinational forces against potential external aggression. With the security situation increasingly uncertain due to the escalation of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which is expected to persist until 2025, this exercise sends a strong signal to Moscow that NATO remains vigilant and ready to act swiftly if the security of a member state is threatened. A NATO spokesperson stated that this exercise is not intended as a provocation, but rather as a demonstration that NATO can deploy significant force at short notice to protect all allies. Some of the NATO member countries participating in this exercise include Spain, deployed Leopard 2 A4 second and supporting mechanized units. United Kingdom sent armored vehicles and logistics from its High Readiness Brigade. Albania contributed light combat vehicles and ground troops. Poland, as the host nation, provided logistics facilities and a fleet of locally produced Leopard tanks. The mobilization process used a mix of transportation modes. Sea transport was used for the main shipments to the port of Szczecin. Rail transport enabled the rapid and efficient movement to the eastern border. This demonstrated NATO's logistical capabilities in moving heavy equipment on a large scale in a short time, a crucial element of NATO's deterrence strategy on the eastern flank. The ongoing tensions between Russia and Ukraine since the 2022 major invasion continue to be a major factor in NATO defense policy. While NATO has not yet intervened directly in the conflict, troop movements to member states like Poland and the Baltic states are a preventative measure to ensure the territorial integrity of alliance members. Exercise Brilliant Jump 2025 is more than just a military exercise, it is a show of strength and readiness. Amid rapidly changing geopolitical dynamics and the looming conflict on its eastern borders, NATO is reaffirming that its collective strength remains active, ready, and solid in the face of any potential threat. NATO's move to deploy a high-alert force to Poland has not escaped international scrutiny. Several European Union member states voiced their full support, calling the Brilliant Jump exercise a reasonable measure to maintain regional stability. On the other hand, Russia condemned the move as a military provocation near its borders. The Russian Foreign Ministry released a statement that the large-scale movement of NATO forces to Poland further escalates the situation and could exacerbate already high tensions. However, a NATO spokesperson emphasized that the exercise was defensive in nature and had been scheduled well in advance as part of the alliance's annual planning. Exercise. Brilliant Jump is not a new exercise, but in 2025 it holds particular significance for several reasons. 1. The protracted Russia-Ukraine conflict. Despite having lasted more than 3 years, this conflict shows no signs of abating. Ukraine continues to seek support from its Western partners, while Russia strengthens its positions in occupied territories. 2. Concerns about the Baltic states and Moldova. Security threats are not limited to Ukraine. Baltic states such as Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, which border either Russia or Belarus, continue to warn of potential hybrid threats from Moscow. 3. Poland's role as NATO's Eastern Shield. Poland is now NATO's primary logistical and military hub in Eastern Europe. The presence of tanks, armored vehicles, and air defense systems in this region is considered vital as a deterrent to direct aggression against NATO territory. 4. Demonstration of technological readiness and mobility. This exercise also showcased NATO's ability to rapidly deploy strategic mobility from sea to land, from port to front line, all in a matter of days. In addition to strengthening the defense line, this exercise also had a direct impact on boosting troop morale and public trust in member states. Local residents in Poland, especially in the eastern region, welcomed the presence of NATO troops, feeling better protected from potential threats closer to their borders. Other NATO member states also saw this exercise as proof that they would not be left alone in the face of a crisis. NATO is likely to maintain some troops and equipment in Poland and surrounding countries for an extended period as part of the enhanced forward presence. Brilliant Jump will be followed by follow-up exercises such as Defender Europe 25 and joint air-ground exercises in the Baltic region as part of the full integration of European and American forces on NATO's front lines. Russia is likely to respond with military exercises in the west or strengthen its position in Kaliningrad. Diplomatic tensions could also escalate in the coming months, particularly in international forums such as the UN and the OSCE. Exercise Brilliant Jump 2025 marks a new phase in NATO's military readiness in Eastern Europe. With cross-border coordination, public support, and rapid logistical and tactical response, the alliance reaffirms its commitment to the principle of one for all for one. In an increasingly uncertain world, this kind of unity and readiness are the primary defenses against any form of aggression.